And the last to come up was Ings, James Ings. And he roared onto the platform and went, "Hey! Yeah! Yeah!" And nobody took up the call. They'd all given Tid. They loved Tid, you see. They'd given him 3 cheers spontaneously, but nobody did it for Ings. Because he was mad. He was deranged. They were terrified. And he just kept singing this, "Give me death or liberty." All the reports. This is what first interested me about the whole Cato Street story, was that he was singing this song in a horrible, discordant, screaming, terrified voice. "Give me death or liberty," a song that was well known to everybody in the crowd at that time. Extremely famous song. And I've always wanted to find it. I thought if I could find the actual notes that go under those words, "Oh, give me death or liberty," it would somehow link us to those people, to those of us who had ancestors in this country 200 years ago, those people that we can't possibly know now, but all knew that song, and yet now it's completely forgotten. Completely forgotten, but I found it. I found it in the British Library. By pure chance, I came across the song, and it's not called "Oh, Give Me Death or Liberty." It's called "Whilst Happy in My Native Land," which is the first line of the song, which is how they gave songs. Titles to song of those things. They give it the first line of the song. And this song was first performed in London, in Drury Lane, on stage in 1774. Now, first of all, let me tell you about how I'm trying to find the song. If you Google the phrase "Give me death or liberty," what comes up is, first of all, a speech by someone that no English people have ever heard of, but every American knows from childhood, Patrick Henry. Is there any Americans in the audience? No? No Americans? Oh, yes, down here. You know Patrick Henry? You heard of him? You can speak, you know, it's all right. You were taught about Patrick Henry at school. You know about his famous speech to the Second Virginia Convention in March 1775, where he made this speech where he wanted to convince them to commit their troops in the Revolutionary War against the British. And he made this speech that absolutely turned the whole thing around. It ends with the words, "Gentlemen may cry, 'Peace, peace,' but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so sweet, and peace so dear as to be bought at the cost of chains and slavery? Almighty God forbid it! I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death!" Boom! That was it. That was what really sparked the whole thing off. And of course, he got his way. They committed the troops of it, just to inspire his troops. And what they all loved was the speech that this senator made at the end of Act 2, Scene 1. In this scene, the senator who's broken away from Caesar and started an insurgency in Tunisia, with the aid of his loyal warlord henchman, Zuba, the Numidian prince. And they battle against Caesar, and with Caesar's troops out at the gate, Nuba comes to him and he says, "May I marry your daughter Marcia?" At which point, this senator says, "Adieu, young prince. I would not hear a word should lessen thee in my esteem. Remember, the hand of fate is over us, and heaven exacts severity from all our thoughts. It is not now a time to talk of aught but chains or conquest, liberty or death." Blackout sensation. Now, what was the name of that Roman senator who was a byword for standing up to tyranny and not giving in to blandishments or anything like that? Anybody know?
Cato.
Cato! Thank you very much. A round of applause, that man gets a cigar. Marcus Porcius Cato Uticensis, otherwise known as Cato. By a strange coincidence, the man who gave his name to that street, which gave its name to the plot, and whose catchphrase, "Give me death or liberty," or "Give me liberty or give me one or the other," same thing, same source, was shouted from the scaffold by one of the plotters. Now, I'm not saying there's any connection there, but If I was a conspiracy theorist, which I am, I'd send that straight to David Icke and let him figure it out. I know. Right, so Give Me Liberty or Give Me... Now, the song that I'm talking about was 6 months before Patrick Henry's speech at Drury Lane. There was an interlude. In those days, if you had a big show, like in this case, Electra, in the middle they program an interlude, a little 20-minute musical comedy that had nothing to do with the main show at all, which is a bit of frivolity to wake everybody up. And this was called The Election, 20-minute piece with music, and it starred a man called Charles Bannister, who was a very, very, very famous performer of the day, had a large, lugubrious face, a bit like Charles Lawton. He was a famous singer, comedian, actor, and he, in this interlude, The Election, is playing Honest John the baker. And there's an election coming up, and he must have been a property owner because he can vote in the election. And there's 2 candidates, the aristocratic candidate, Sir Courtly, and the man of the people candidate, Squire Trusty. And it's Squire Trusty Honest John wants to vote for, but his wife keeps nagging him and saying, Sir Courtly says if you but vote for him, he'll fill our pockets to the very brim. I tell him all, this canting will not do. I'll sell my loaves, but not my conscience too. Shall I be perjured wife and sell my soul to get a guinea for a penny roll?
Battery, 90%.
Shut up. Drury Lane, right? Okay, 1774. Whilst happy in my native land, I boast my country's charter. I'll never basely lend my hand her liberties to barter. The noble mind is not at all by poverty degraded. 'Tis guilt alone can make us fall, and well I am persuaded that every Briton's song should be, oh give me death or liberty, 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 oh give me death or liberty. Instant sensation. It was a smash hit, and soon everybody in the country knew it. It just became a standard immediately. It spoke to British people. And everything else about the show is forgotten. Amazingly, the script and the score are still in the British Library, which is where I found it forgotten. But what happened to the song Give Me Death or Liberty was that it morphed. In the course of 20 years, it changed into something very different. There is a book also in the British Library of radical songs, published in 1795, just about the time of the French Revolution, in which you find lots of very popular songs of the day with new lyrics. These songs that would have been sung at radical meetings, often up in the hills where they could work unobserved with flaming torches and angry people plotting revenge. And this is the version of the song that appeared in 1794. Proud bishops we will then translate among priest-crafted martyrs. The guillotine on piers awaits, and knights will hang in garters. Now once for all the work begun, we'll clean the Algean stables. A moment lost, we are undone. Come strike, whilst we are able. Each patriot Briton's song should be, oh give me death or liberty, oh give me death or liberty, oh give everybody me death or liberty. Oh, give me, sing it for your ancestors. Oh, give me death or liberty. Oh, give me death or liberty. Oh, give me death or liberty. Oh, give me death or liberty.